Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome back to Aqua's story of Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. And yeah, it's been a while since I recorded, so I'm a wee bit rusty, but don't worry, I'm here to settle back into the groove, and it's a good thing that this story is set up this way in a sort of Rashomon effect, three characters doing a thing but experiencing similar yet different events, because it's here where we begin to see, well, Aqua take the reins, and again, as I mentioned beforehand, in terms of character progression, yeah, the story is pretty much meant to go Terra, Ventus, Aqua, but I'm doing it in completely random order because, fuck it, why the hell not? And yes, as I also mentioned all the way back in part 1, I believe, yeah, with certain cutscenes such as this that pretty much play throughout all characters' stories, or at least are shown more than once, I'm going to be talking over them, primarily for the sake of ensuring that there isn't really a lot of repetition and that people aren't going to be falling asleep by the time they get to part 17, so on and so forth. But, yeah, if there is anything I can say about Aqua's story right off the bat, at least not without giving too much of the game away, since we already kind of know how this story ends, or at least part of it with Ventus's perspective. Yeah, Ventus was basically meant to be the wide-eyed, naive kid who's basically just sort of, you know, traveling around the world on instinct. Aqua very much resembles, well, that of her master. If there's any word I could use to describe her, it's pretty much teacher's pet. Like, I mean, as a character, Aqua is, again, she's responsible, very gifted and talented in terms of her skills with a Keyblade and magic. And when it comes to everything else, you will find that she is very much the embodiment of her master's teachings. Like, I didn't really get much of a chance to talk about Ericus beforehand, but yeah, in terms of what I mentioned beforehand about his dogma towards light and darkness, you will really begin to see that reflected in Aqua's character, which, in some cases, I suppose it is meant to be an indication about how much of an influence that Ericus had on his students, both positively and negatively, but in turn, though, I feel like you get the most amount of how much Ericus really imprinted his teachings on Aqua, and how readily she was to receive them. Like, I mean, again, I think I might have joked about it in the previous part, but this girl is very much a sort of lady who, again, has all her homework done and is in bed by 6, and is basically just here to clean up the mess of those naughty boys, Terra and Ventus. And yeah, there's also no change here between this and the regular stuff. It's basically the tutorial level for those who skip the tutorial level. And comparatively to Ventus, who was very much, you know, quick on his feet, fast with his Keyblade, Aqua's focus is primarily magic-based. Again, a lot of her skills you're not really going to be seeing right here, but yeah, her magic abilities are where you're going to be getting the most fun out of her, as well as her finisher, really. You saw right there, that was basically meant to be like a precursor version to Magic Volley, which was one of the finishers you can use with her D-Link. We will be seeing some of that a little bit later on, and in terms of command melding, we will definitely be seeing a lot of great abilities out of Aqua's magical capabilities. It's just that for the time being, we're pretty much just smacking some balls around. Very kinky. Especially because I've got darkness. Because apparently nobody noticed Xehanort wiggling his fingers around and doing some evil stuff. But yes, changing Mad Stars, we already pretty much know this at this point, and really why they repeat this throughout different stories is anybody's guess, but
one must keep a
yes.
even in the most trying of circumstances.
Yeah, one of the sad things about this little segment, actually, is that you don't actually get to have a whole, like, Aqua versus Terra mini boss fight, really, which, again, you would have thought they would have had at this stage, but no. I mean, we see it briefly in the high-def, sexy Square Enix CG cutscenes. We also see it somewhat briefly during the earlier tutorial segment in part 1, yet we don't get it here. I guess I probably would have seen it as a bit redundant since I already had it in the previous tutorial segment, but it's kind of weird, I guess. But yeah, all simply because of the fact that Ericus saw some stinky darkness, which, you know what, I'll discuss it later in Terra's story. The point is that because he saw stinky darkness waves, Aqua wins because, I don't know, she's a good girl, does her homework, goes to bed when she's told, and, Aquist.
We have deliberated and reached a decision. Terra?
Oh, and, yes, I suppose I might as well talk about this right now, since, you know, I kind of don't want to devolve into random babbling and psychotic commentary right off the bat, but yes, if you take a closer look at Master Eraqus' face, yeah, his facial profile was actually based on Hironobu Sakaguchi, which, for those of you who aren't really caught up in your Square Enix history, was the creator of Final Fantasy and one of the more influential people at Square who'd left shortly after Kingdom Hearts was a thing, actually. I think part of his reason for leaving the company was the failure of Final Fantasy The Spirits Within, which was a movie. I haven't seen it, mind you, but I don't really know if it's good or bad or not, but still, it's quite odd. But anyway, there's your little bit of Square Enix-y trivia. And now they're pretty much just off to bugger about and do whatever else. And we still get the same cutscene with Xehanort talking to Vanitas. And I can finally say his name. Ah, excellent. But yeah, don't worry, you won't be seeing the last of Vanitas here, because he also takes a bit of a vested interest in Aqua, which does make me wonder about earlier plot points, and especially considering what happens by Kingdom Hearts 3. Can't help but wonder if things were going to go a certain way at one point, or if something else was going to happen, but it's neither here nor there in this case. Anyway, after Terra goes off to sulk for a wee bit, this is where new cutscenes happen, so I'll stay silent.
And insomuch as you are now Keyblade Master, you must always be conscious of... What is that?
What happened?
I don't know. Why isn't Ven here?
Very well then. I will send my pupils to investigate. Yes, I understand. Farewell. That was my dear old friend Yen Sid. As you know, he is master no more, but he still keeps a close eye on the tides of light and darkness. His counsel serves as signposts on the road we wielders of the Keyblade must walk. All the more reason, then, for concern, for he tells me the princesses of heart are in danger, not only from the forces of darkness, as you may assume, but also from a new threat, one that feeds on negativity. Fledgling emotions that have taken monster form. Yen Sid calls them the Unversed. As wielders of the Keyblade, you are tasked with striking down any who would upset the balance of light and darkness. The Unversed are no exception. I tried to pass this news on to Master Xehanort, but my repeated attempts to reach him have failed. I doubt there is any connection, and yet this all troubles me.
Master Xehanort is gone?
So here we are. I need you two to get this situation under control. Eliminate the Unversed, and find Master Xehanort. I have unlocked the lanes between. You may use these forbidden pathways to travel between this world and countless others. The darkness looms closer than usual within these spaces, but your armor will protect you. Lastly, remember that order must be kept. You cannot tell anyone there are other worlds. Now go, and fulfill your duty.
Yes, Master.
Terra, consider this an opportunity. A second chance for you to change my mind.
What?
You must know, I care for you like my own son. If I could have my way, I would name you Master in a second. But how can I, when you are so obsessed with power? Terra, you mustn't be afraid of losing. Fear leads to obsession with power, and obsession beckons the darkness. You must never forget.
Thank you, Master. I swear, I will not fail you again.
Master, I best be on my way.
Wait, Aqua. Before you depart, I have one other, well, call it a request of the utmost priority.
Yes?
I told Terra this could be a second chance to show the mark of mastery, and I meant it. However, that flicker of darkness he displayed during the examination, I can sense it runs very deep. If those powers were to prove too much for him to handle, I want you to bring him back to me at once. It's for his own good. I could not bear to lose any of you to the darkness.
Of course. I would never let that happen. I promise you I will bring Terra back. Only this time, you'll see he has what it takes to be a master. He's not as weak as you think.
Yeah.
Wait, Ben!
No, he mustn't. You have to bring him back.
Don't worry, Master.
Now, as you can see, Ericus was quite clearly aware about Ventus's connection to the Kai Blade, and clearly didn't want him to leave. You know what, I already said that in part 15, so, look, Ventus... I've said my piece, but anyway, you can also sort of see where Aqua's very much just sort of... And again, probably the weirdest term in which I can use is that she's pretty much a sponge for Ericus's teachings. Again, she's very much just, yes, master, I obey. I mean, again, she is still connected to her friends, at least at this stage, and clearly wants the best for Ventus and Terra, but at the same time, though, again, you can see that her personality is rather... docile? Again, I could have used an alternate term, but I don't think that would have been quite right, but... Yeah, her docile personality basically just sort of leaves her to be an imprint for Ericus's teachings, and, yeah... The seeds of, distrust have been planted. But anyway, this is also pretty much going to be, you know, all the abilities we have command melding. As you can see, worlds are locked off, and unlike Ventus, who got to go to the Dwarf Woodlands, yeah, we're pretty much stuck with Cinderella's world. Whoopee, we'll be getting to that next time. But anyway, because I'm fucking childish, guess what I'm going to be renaming Aqua's finisher? You have 3 seconds. Oh, restricted characters. Yes, indeed. Pussy juice. Yes, Vented had farts, and now we have... vaginas. Because I am the most mature person. But anyway, this is just me settling back into the groove. So, on that note, I'm Solidus-Skully, keeping new metal, and before we tackle Cinderella's world next time, here's a cutscene. Oh yeah. See you later.
Mademoiselle! Senorita! Wait!
Aqua!
Terra! Ven ran away from home.
What?
I think he left to go find you. Do you have any idea why?
No. Actually, just before I left, he tried to tell me something. I should have listened to what he had to say.
Oh. So, did you manage to locate Master Xehanort?
No, but it seems he's looking for pure hearts filled with light.
Pure hearts, filled with light.
All I can tell you is that his search hasn't taken him here.
Alright. I'll stay and see if I can find more clues.
Okay. The prince is in the ballroom ahead. He might have some answers.
Thanks.
Aqua! You still have the same dream?
Well, yes.
There's this girl here. Her name is Cinderella. She made me realize how powerful it is just to believe. No matter how impossible things seem, a powerful enough dream will always be enough to light the darkness. If you see her, give her my thanks.
Will do. He'll be alright. He won't give in to it.